Alligator Alcatraz is gone. That news today comes on the heels of the news just a few days ago that the warehouse Trump prison camps they were trying to build all over the country, which would have been some of the biggest prison facilities in the world, that whole string of Trump warehouse prison camps, those are mostly being abandoned by the Trump administration as well. The New York Times reporting that at least 7 of the facilities they already bought, they paid cash for, they're either going to put those back up for sale or give them away for other government purposes. So the people who fought these facilities, the people who fought having a huge Trump prison camp in their town, in Social Circle, Georgia, in Flowery Branch, Georgia, in Roxbury, New Jersey, in Romulus, Michigan, in Berks County and Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania, in Salt Lake City, Utah, all of the people who fought these Trump prison camps in those places, they have all just learned that the Trump administration is giving up and giving in. They're going to be giving away or selling back these warehouse facilities they bought in all of those places to try to build Trump prison camps. Those camps will not be built. The people who protested to stop those Trump prison camps, they won. Now that leaves 4 more sites where they have also they have also purchased warehouses. And we don't know what they're going to do with those 4 additional sites. That's the one in Hagerstown, Maryland, 2 sites in Texas, one in Socorro and one in San Antonio, and another in Surprise, Arizona. We don't know what's going to happen to those 4 warehouse facilities, even as the other 7 are going to be given back or given away. But I will tell you, even in those 4 places, the fight against these things is still on. In Surprise, Arizona specifically, you are going to think I'm making this up, but I am not making this up. The people in Surprise, Arizona who are fighting the potential Trump prison camp they want to put there, those folks are so annoyed with their city council not helping them stop this thing that those local residents are now advancing an effort to literally dissolve the city of Surprise, Arizona, to unincorporate the city, specifically so there won't be a city council anymore. So the city council won't be in their way as they continue to fight the Trump prison camp, and therefore they can fight this thing harder. Even as the Trump administration caves now and gives in and gives up on trying to build most of these things. The few places remaining where they still haven't said that they're going to give back or sell back the warehouses, those places are still fighting. That news comes on the heels of the Trump administration also having to give in and give up on this inexplicable, bizarre plan they had to go down to the bottom of the ocean, the deep sea, off the coast of Oregon, Washington State, Alaska, North Carolina, and in between Greenland and Iceland to go send ships into water thousands of feet deep to then retrieve and destroy expensive American deep sea instruments that we have maintained in those deep sea locations for a decade, to do complex monitoring of ocean currents and other stuff, stuff that's important not just for weather, but for fisheries and a lot of really other practical applications. This is a system, again, that's been in place for a decade. It's been working fine, doing what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to last another 25 years. It cost us hundreds of millions of dollars to build this system. For some reason, the Trump administration decided they would instead spend millions of your dollars to go out and disable and destroy this system, to retrieve the instruments from the deep sea floor, haul them up to the surface, and turn them into scrap. Why did they want to do that? I don't know, but they will now not be able to do that because the Senate passed a bipartisan bill blocking them from doing that, and rather than continue to fight to do it, the Trump administration caved. The administration releasing this statement: update on Ocean Observatory's initiative. Effective immediately, we will not proceed with further removal or de-scoping of equipment. Yeah, we will not be doing that anymore. You pushed back? Okay, we won't. Okay, we give in. All these things are happening at once. Did you see what ABC did today? As CBS News is humiliating itself, right? CBS News in a state of total chaos as the billionaire oligarchic owners of CBS try to turn it into Trump TV, and they have thereby screwed up their evening news, and they have inexplicably shut down their radio news altogether. And they fired Stephen Colbert when he had the best ratings in the business. And now they are royally screwing up 60 Minutes, which is the most successful American news program of all time. They have just been careening from one humiliating disaster to another at Paramount and CBS. Well, today, in contrast, did you see what ABC did? ABC is taking a totally opposite approach. ABC, a big legacy corporate network and news organization, I guess, taking a look at how CBS has humiliated and debased and injured itself for Donald Trump. And ABC has decided, you know what, we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to fight. And crucially, ABC has also made the decision that not only are they going to fight, they're going to ask the public to help them fight. Look at this, which is airing on ABC nationwide as of today.
I had this idea for a show. Different women, different points of view.
The View has welcomed your favorite guests and covered the issues you care about for nearly 30 years. Now, the FCC wants to control who is allowed to appear on the show. Viewers, use your voice. Scan this QR code. You have until July 6th.
ABC airing that as of today, asking its viewers to join their fight against Trump trying to take over the media. They're also airing spots like this one. This is from their local station in New York. They're airing spots like this all over the country, defending all of their local stations from the same kind of Trump administration attack.
Every day, we commit to inform, entertain, and serve you. Now, the FCC is questioning our commitment to the community. Show your support for WABC TV by scanning this QR code today. You have until July 29th to tell the FCC to keep your trusted local station on the air.
That's the one that's airing in the New York area, but they are airing spots like that in support of their local stations all over the country. And I know I said at the top that I had a litany of good news for you tonight. Obviously, I'm aware that it is bad news that we have an authoritarian president of the United States who is using all the power of the federal government to try to take over the media so it's run by his friends and shills and it's all propaganda for him. But I got to say, what ABC did today, what ABC started doing today, this is good news. Because here's a big, important network with a big, important American news division saying, we're not going to take this lying down. We're going to fight as a network. And we want our viewers and the public to know we're fighting, and we are going to ask them to join us in this fight. After the disaster we have seen at CBS, what we are seeing here, in contrast from ABC, shows a healthy instinct, right? A good sign for a democracy. That a big, powerful entity like ABC is not just going to cave like other similar entities have. It is a good sign, and it is good news, because if there's one thing we know about fighting for your democracy, it's that you will lose every fight you choose not to wage. And when you do choose to fight, sometimes you do win. For example, all this weekend, I just marinated in these images coming out of Georgia from a few days ago, as Democrats and black voters in Georgia won, as they succeeded in getting Georgia Republicans to back off and abandon their plans to get rid of majority black congressional districts in Georgia. And this is Georgia State Senator Kenya Wicks celebrating that win. That's her with her hand raised there. Georgia Republicans, I mean, they convened this special session of the legislature specifically and only to take black districts away in Georgia. But then the Georgia state capitol filled with people righteously protesting against it. And against this, Georgia Republicans lost their nerve. They decided not to do it. They called it off. And yes, again, I recognize it is terrible that Republicans have rushed to eliminate black districts in Tennessee and in Alabama and Louisiana. But you know what? They wanted to do it in Georgia, too. And the people told them no, peacefully and loudly. And direct action gets the goods. Shame worked. And they turned it back in Georgia. And that is worth not glossing over. That is worth paying attention to.